Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Self-Love First. My name's Alicia, and I appreciate you being here. Please hit that like button. It's a free and easy way to support my channel, and it helps a lot. Here's a question I hear all the time from people. Why does this keep happening to me? Why do I keep attracting the same kind of partner? Why do I keep struggling with money? Why do I always react this way? Why does this trigger keep coming back? And here's what most people don't realize. Repetitive patterns are not random. They're almost always rooted in an original emotional event. A moment where you experienced something painful and made a decision about yourself or about life because of it. And that belief, formed in a moment, can quietly run for decades. Today, I'm going to walk you through a powerful subconscious process in MAP that helps uncover and neutralize these repeating patterns at the root. The purpose of the storyline procedure is to backtrack patterns to their original trauma. A lot of the time, what happens in our lives is we experience something. We go through an experience. We're an identity. We experience something that's going on, and therefore we predict that it's probably going to happen again. Or we have some sort of belief or assumption about life after that trauma. So this is deep work that is powerful, real, and the real-time results are amazing. And if you stay until the end, I'll also show you how to make sure the pattern doesn't just disappear from the past, but it stops controlling your future. Let's start here. Patterns begin with experience. Something happens and we feel something strongly. And in that emotional moment, we form a belief. Maybe things like, I wasn't chosen, or I'm not safe, or I have to do everything myself, or love doesn't last, or that money is unstable. Now, here's the important part. Situations can be the fuel that motivates us to create beliefs and ways of living that influence our environment. But most of the time, the issue can be hidden or dissociated or just taken for granted. The storyline procedure is just about breaking down each event that feels the same way and noticing what are the similarities, what are the dissimilarities, and neutralizing the charge around those, and possibly getting an insight into what's actually the cause of those types of situations. And if not, at the very least, we're able to free ourselves from those past traumas and go. Or those past situations that trigger us the same way. At least free ourselves from it, so the next time we meet it, we're not as triggered. And we might be able to handle the situation differently. So that belief doesn't just sit in your mind while minding its own business. It influences your micro behaviors, your tone, your posture, your boundaries, your expectations, your nervous system. And then the world responds to that. So over time, the belief gets reinforced because beliefs are what shapes your reality. You experience something similar again and repeat the same feedback loop. And your brain says, see, I was right. And the pattern strengthens and it gets further reinforced. So the question becomes, did the belief create the experience? Or did the experience create the belief? Often it starts with one experience, but What keeps it alive is the belief formed from that experience. And the belief is usually unconscious. That's why willpower alone doesn't or can't fix it. The storyline process is a structured way to, number one, identify a repeating emotional pattern. Number two, backtrack through similar events. Number three, neutralize the emotional charge. Number four, treat the original root event. And then five, rewire your response to future scenarios. The goal is not to erase your memory. The goal is lightness, softening your charge or trigger around it. Because what we can feel, we can heal. When you think about the pattern, you no longer feel pulled into it. You're no longer reactive. You can observe instead of automatically responding. That space, that pause, is where we find freedom from it. Let me walk you through this step by step. You can even journal through it during or after this if you want to try it for yourself. Ask yourself, what is something that keeps happening in my life that feels similar emotionally? It might be partners pulling away, feeling disrespected, money disappearing, reacting with anger, feeling invisible. Be specific, not just say, my life is hard. This is about one repeated emotional theme. Ask yourself, when was the last time I felt this way? Go to that moment and focus on it for a while. What happened? What did you feel in your body? What story did your mind create? Now, here's the key. Don't analyze or judge it or yourself. Just notice the emotional charge. On a scale of 0 to 10, how intense is it? With 10 being a high level of intensity. Then allow yourself to sit with it. Breathe through it and let your nervous system settle into safety. You're not reliving it. You're neutralizing it. Once it feels lighter, move to step 3. Now ask, when is another time that I felt this same emotional pattern? And go backward from there. Maybe it was 2 years ago. Maybe it was 10 years ago. Maybe childhood. You don't need every memory. 1 up to 3 are powerful enough. Your superconscious mind knows how to neutralize similar memories at once without you needing to consciously remember or be thinking about all of them actively. For each one, feel it. Notice the similarity. Breathe through it. Let the charge decrease. You're dissolving the emotional glue that's holding the pattern together. You're not losing memories. You're just dismantling the underlying belief that is causing the pattern to begin with. Now ask yourself gently, when was the first time I ever felt this? Sometimes it'll come up instantly. Sometimes it feels subtle. Sometimes you just feel like you just know. It might be small. Could be a moment at school, a parent's comment, a breakup, a humiliation. This is often where the belief was formed. Stay there. Breathe. Allow compassion for the version of you in that moment. Hug your inner child. And here's the powerful reframe. That event created a belief, but it does not define your truth. Let your nervous system soften around it for however long it needs to. Allow yourself to be curious and explore for a while. When you think about it now, does it still grip or trigger you? Or is there space? That space is completion. The next step is critical, and some people skip it. Now imagine a similar scenario happening in the future. Maybe it's a partner pulling away, or an unexpected expense, or someone is criticizing you. How does it feel now? Is there still fear? Is there still tension? If yes, breathe through and soften it. The goal is this: you imagine the future event and you feel steady, not reactive, not powerless, not victimized, just present. When you can sit with and acknowledge your feelings and feel them becoming more neutralized, that's when you know that the pattern is losing its power. Completion doesn't always feel dramatic. Sometimes it just feels like lightness, neutrality, distance, a sense of choice. Instead of saying, "This always happens to me," it can become, "That used to happen." Instead of reacting automatically, you have space. And in that space, you can choose differently. That's embodiment. That's subconscious rewiring. That's how you break generational and personal cycles. I'd like you to comment below. What pattern are you ready to break within your own life? If this resonated with you and you want deeper guidance with this kind of subconscious work, especially around worthiness, safety, money, and relationships, make sure you subscribe and stay connected. You do not have to keep repeating the same storyline. You get to write a new one whenever you want. I have links below to my website where you'll find free resources, my online embodied manifestation toolkit course, and links to book a one-on-one map session with me if you're interested. As always, self-love first, always. I will see you in the next video. Until then, have a fabulous rest of your day. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care.